Hi everyone. So welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. It feels so good to fully have my voice back again. So I'm feeling 100% better. Thank you so much to all of you who wrote me the most beautiful comments when I was recovering from being a little bit under the weather. I hope you're all doing really well also. Let me know how you've been feeling, how your week has been going, and how things have been since the very intense full moon that we just experienced a couple days ago. So I'm going to start by shuffling the energy oracle cards. If you do want to manifest a specific message from the reading, I always recommend liking the video and subscribing to the channel because these are forms of energetic transference that do tend to allow me to pick up more easily on your energy and channel more specifically for you and your situation. So there have been a lot of messages coming through as I've been journaling the last few days. You guys know I like to journal sometimes when I'm meditating and feeling like there are some downloads coming through. So I want to kind of revisit some of what was coming through my journal actually yesterday because I was writing a lot down. And one thing that came up here is that there's a message coming through for a specific collective of divine feminines. So I will most likely put that term in the title of today's video because I feel if this reading is for you, you are resonating more with your divine feminine energy. Now, of course, this is irrespective of gender. We are talking about energy dynamics here, and we all have a blend of both divine feminine and masculine energy within us. But what I'm picking up on is a divine feminine who tends to play a very strange and unique role in the lives of masculines that they interact with. And specifically, what I'm picking up is your role in these masculines' lives is often very confusing and is often misunderstood. So we're going to dive into this because I feel that not only is it very commonly misunderstood by the masculine energies themselves that you are connecting with, but at times even you yourself may struggle to really understand, why are these masculines entering my life? Is this some kind of soul contract? Because the first thing I'm getting is when you meet or connect with these individuals, there is a very, very strong magnetism. This doesn't have to be romantic, but there is a sense of inevitability to these meetings. Even if they are platonic, even if they're friendships, just strangers, I feel that at times you are drawn to speak to certain masculine energies, to meet them, to connect with them. And the pull is very mutual. And yes, at times it could be romantic as well, but this is where I feel it gets tricky because there's a deeper spiritual meaning to these meetings, to these what my guides are really calling activations through those meetings. But I feel that it's almost always or very often immediately assumed to be romantic in nature or to be like a potential permanent romantic situation. In fact, I especially feel, and this reading is going to be so specific, it's going to be so unique to a certain group of divine feminines. Only take this if it does resonate for you, of course, because this is a very specialized reading. But I feel that for the divine feminine I'm picking up on here, you get this very strong pull to connect with certain masculine energies, to meet them, to get to know them, to maybe meet up with them or have conversations. And very often I feel that the masculine immediately assumes that the connection is meant to be romantic in nature because they feel this magnetic pulling towards you. And sometimes these may be romantic individuals in your life where there is that element of love and romance. But again, I feel that regardless of whether there is or isn't that love element, there's something very deeply spiritual going on through these kinds of strange connections. So the first thing that I'm getting is that something about the kind of feminine energy that you embody is very deeply healing to wounded masculine energy. That even just being in your presence or being around you is very, very healing to masculines who have been deeply energetically wounded. And this is part of why you feel the pull to connect with them, because on a spiritual level, you can sense that being around you is going to heal something within them, because it shows them an example of a kind of healed feminine energy, which, by the way, naturally, when you are a healed divine feminine, you actually have the ability to heal masculine energy just by being around it, because when one polarity is healed, it naturally calls the other into balance. So when you, for example, as a feminine who may have some wounding, when you're around a very healed masculine presence, a very awakened divine masculine who's done their healing, this can actually naturally help to stabilize you and bring you into balance. But you can do the same for masculine energies as well. So when you're showing up in a very balanced, healed way in your feminine energy, this naturally has a healing and balancing effect on wounded masculine energies that you may interact with. So what I get is that many masculines call in interactions with you that at times may be very light, they may be very surface level. It may just be being in the same space as you, having a conversation with you, being able to meet you for a period of time. But I get that these interactions are precious because it's giving these wounded masculines a chance to be in the presence of a healed divine feminine. Now, of course, no one is 100% healed. It would be impossible. We're always on this ever-evolving journey. But what I mean when I use the word healed is that you are someone who is consciously choosing to continue to expand your consciousness, to awaken, to raise your vibration to a higher degree, to face your shadows. You're on that path of increasing consciousness. You're moving in that direction. And that's what I mean when I say that you are healed. I mean that you're open, that you're expanding, that you're growing, spiritually speaking, that you're on that kind of a path. And so what I'm getting is that, well, first of all, something I wrote down here that I channeled for you as well is that you actually came to planet Earth, yes, like this specific unique group I'm speaking to here. And you'll know this is for you because you came to planet Earth with a deep understanding and empathy for the wounded masculine, but also you came with that empathy while being in a feminine kind of dominant energy or a feminine dominant form. And so what this means is that you've always had this natural empathy for masculine energies that you may have met or interacted with throughout your lifetime that you could tell were struggling or that you knew were wounded. And I feel that you had this from a very young age. And again, this is so much more than love and romance. I feel you may have even had this through school. Maybe you saw other children and some of them were masculine energies and you saw them really struggling and you had a heart for them and wanted to make them feel less alone. This also may have for some of you even applied in a father situation. So you may have always had empathy for wounded masculine energy that maybe you saw within your father or a father figure. You may have, of course, seen this through relationships. And at times you may have kind of carried this empathy like a burden where you felt like something was wrong with you for having such a deep empathy for the wounded masculine. But the reason that you've always had that is because it speaks to part of your soul's mission here on earth and this really unique ability that you have to heal masculine energy simply by being present with it and around it. Now, I feel at times this comes with a lot of pitfalls as well, because of course, there is that need to protect your own energy. And I'm hearing not to unequally yoke yourself. Like in the Bible, they talk about not unequally tethering yourself to someone, especially in a marriage or a partnership situation. And so I feel that at times it can be very challenging, especially in a romantic context, because I feel that when it comes to romance specifically, you really are at a stage in your soul's evolution where it's paramount for you to be connecting with, if you choose, I should say, to have a romantic connection long-term, a partnership, a marriage. I feel it's really important for you to be with a masculine energy in that partnership who is truly your equal, in the sense that they themselves are also highly conscious, are also very spiritually open, have a very open heart, and have that same kind of desire to grow and to expand. Because again, as we said at the beginning, when you as a feminine are around a healed masculine, it has the same effect on you, where it makes you feel safer to open your heart, to keep expanding. And I feel that that level of support is so beautiful and something that you really do deserve, if you, of course, do desire that kind of partnership or desire to be in some kind of long-term romantic connection. But I do feel that there is this mission that you have, or this ability that you have, to be a very healing force in the world when it comes to these wounded masculine energies. But when it comes to long-term romantic partnership, at this stage, you are really meant to be aligning with a masculine who is in a more healed state. I hope that kind of makes sense here. And again, I feel like this is part of the confusion, because you can feel something that almost imitates a soul contract, where you feel that magnetic pulling, that strong desire to connect with certain masculine energies, but it's not necessarily a romantic soul contract at times. Sometimes this is speaking to this trait about you, this healing ability that you have. And you can be manifested into these masculines' lives simply for the purpose of having some kind of interaction or connection with you, because it is healing to their soul in some way. So I feel like I needed to channel through this message to help clear up some of what a feminine may be feeling around some of this. Now, if you are a feminine resonating with this reading, I've recently created a subliminal that I feel would be so powerful for you on your journey. And this is called Magnetic Feminine Energy, because this is really designed to help keep you in that soft, effortless, energetically open, relaxed flow state where the most powerful manifestations flow through you, but with ease and grace. That is the way of the feminine. And this subliminal works with your subconscious mind to deeply reprogram your belief systems, your energetic field, to help you align more with that effortless but powerful feminine essence and energy that is so magnetic for everything that you desire. So if you would like to use this subliminal, you can find it in my Subliminals app, Sound and Soulful, where I have over 130 subliminals for all areas of life. I've personally used subliminals to manifest in all areas of my life, and I've found them to be more powerful than any other manifestation technique I've tried in the past. So I'm so excited to be sharing all of my subliminals with you through this app, and you can download it directly by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description box. And when you sign up for a free trial account in the app, you can try out any subliminal I've created completely free. You can even create your own custom private playlists and listen in 10 different background sound options. So again, all of the information on that is below. But I also want to touch on something else that is very interesting about this dynamic that you have. And my guides were saying here that at times, these masculine energies don't even show up as people. These can even be masculine structures, environments, workplaces, groups of people that just tend to carry more of that masculine energy charge. And the interesting thing I'm getting here is that you and your divine feminine energy are so resistant to being controlled or being possessed that there is this tendency when it comes to these masculine energies, whether it's people, things, structures, a community, a place, there's this tendency to want to control you or to possess you in some kind of way, because often, again, they misunderstand the role you are meant to play in their lives. So they may meet you or encounter you and feel this pull towards you. And instead of simply allowing that connection to flow, to be what it is, to unfold naturally, they may attempt to kind of put it in a box because they're afraid of losing it, because they're afraid of it going away, and they love the healing effect that they're feeling from it. And so they overreact by then trying to kind of like lock it down or trying to possess it in some kind of unnatural way. And I get that your energy is very, very resistant to being possessed or being controlled. And this is the moment where you slip through their fingers. This is the moment where you vanish. It's almost this ethereal energy about you where you come into people's lives in this almost magical fashion, where you just seem to come out of nowhere. I was hearing like, where did you come from? Or like, where have you been all this time? Because that's how you pop into people's realities. It's almost like you show up from another dimension. You show up out of nowhere seemingly, but then you can disappear just as quickly when someone overreaches or oversteps and tries to start controlling the process of connecting with you, or tries to kind of like possess you or own you in some way because they are afraid of losing the effect that they feel you've been having on them, which is very positive. And so this is something to be aware of as well, because for some of you, you may find that yes, you can suddenly meet and connect with someone, but you can also suddenly feel this urge to set up boundaries or to disconnect from them, or maybe circumstances literally seem to pull you out of this person's reality, out of their life. This is often because, again, people tend to misunderstand the role that you're meant to have in their life. You're meant to be an activator, a healer, at times to kind of be like this bridge that shows people to a higher way or to a higher aspect of themselves. But it's not meant to be, you're not meant to permanently be bridging for other people. You're meant to be showing through some kind of example how they can do that within themselves, how they can bridge themselves or heal themselves. And again, I feel that very often, instead of taking that knowledge and then applying it, people tend to latch on to you. This is also what I've meant when I've said that your energy is very addicting. It's because of that effect that you have on people that is so addicting. That ability to kind of be this intermediary between them and this higher version of themselves because of this deep empathy that you naturally hold for them, even in a wounded state. So the last thing that I wrote in my journal, which kind of feels something relevant to share here, is what you always thought was strange about you is actually part of your soul's mission here on earth. Now, we could get into a whole separate conversation about this because I don't feel this is limited to these particular situations we've been describing for this very unique group here. I feel this actually relates in a really broad sense for you as well, where there are things about you that you always considered maybe burdensome, maybe strange, maybe like something that was almost a weight that you were carrying around. But what's ironic is I feel this stage of your spiritual journey is actually meant to reveal to you just how many of those things you once considered to be a negative trait or considered to be a burden are actually strengths, are actually gifts that you possess, but also gifts that you have the ability to share with the world, soul gifts in many cases. And how so many of those things that you once may have tried to reject about yourself actually are puzzle pieces to your soul's greater mission here on earth. And that the more conscious you become of those pieces of yourself, and the more that you give yourself permission to integrate them, the more you actually expand into that purpose in a more real-time, tangible, physical kind of way. So I know that was a bit of a random ending message, but I really felt someone part of this group needed to hear that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close this reading here. Of course, if my voice resonates with you, I would love to have you here. Subscribe and join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. And of course, the link to get the Sound and Soulful Subliminals app and try out my magnetic feminine energy energy, Subliminal, to really magnetize your energy as a divine feminine and effortlessly manifest your desires in life. The link to that is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have an amazing remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next reading.